some say that people who live in poverty need religion in order to make their life worth living. I say that they need access to food, clean water, shelter, medicine, and education to really make their life worth living. Because this is way more effective than God or Allah or whatever's wishy-washy habit of saying to people who are struggling that, though you are suffering, if you worship me, when you die, you will get to go to heaven. P.S. If you don't worship me, you will go to hell. Now, this basically just seems like a way for God to abdicate his responsibility from the creatures that he is supposed to have created, while still ensuring that he is worshipped unconditionally by emotionally blackmailing people while they are at their most vulnerable into loving him by threatening them with a fate even worse than the hell that they are currently living in. Even worse is when someone who is poor is told that the meek shall inherit the earth. Which sounds like it might be an okay thing, but if you look at this properly, this is a really terrible deal. Because what God forgets to mention when pitching this proposal to the AIDS-infected single mother of 9, who is living in a cardboard box in a rubbish tip in sub-Saharan Africa, is that the meek will probably only inherit the earth at the end of days. Which is when the earth is being rained on by fire and sulphur, who is dying and can no longer sustain human life, let alone provide adequate food and shelter for the billions of people currently living in poverty on our planet today. Meanwhile, all of God's non-meek and not poor favourites, which seem to be rich straight white guys living in the first world country, will head on up to heaven to party on down with what I can only assume will be celestial playboy bunnies, who have the sexual virtuosity of an 80-year-old Amsterdam prostitute and the flexibility of a Russian Olympic gymnast at the height of her illustrious gold medal winning career. So, God saying that the meek shall inherit the earth, that is not him being kind and loving. That is him trying to swindle the poor out of a place in heaven, and instead make them stay on a dying, ravaged planet where they will have an eternity of poverty that is even worse than the poverty that they lived in when they were alive.
I'm just the son of a carpenter, and I don't want anything from ya, except for your eternal love and devotion and guilt.